Have you ever had something that just you couldn't believe was true? I'm Christy Birchfield, and today we're looking at the first part of Luke chapter 24. This is the last chapter in this book, and today verses 1 through 12 came to mind, and reading this story about the resurrection of Jesus. I remember in high school, we had this friend who, honestly, she would believe anything we told her. We would come up with some of the most far-fetched tales, and she would completely believe us all the time. We would talk about how gullible she was, and compared to the rest of us, apparently profound skeptics. We see this scenario playing out in these first few verses of Luke chapter 24. Jesus has been raised from the dead. He's alive, and no one can believe it. The women have been down at the tomb. They have been confronted with the truth of this. They go back and start to share the message and the story, but the men don't believe them. They don't know whether they had been in the habit of, I don't honestly know whether they had been in the habit of telling far-fetched stories before, but that's certainly what it seemed like the guys thought they were doing. The disciples couldn't believe that any of this would be true. Jesus had told them that he was going to do this and be raised from the dead, but nobody ever did that, so they hadn't really believed it was possible. Do we believe what Jesus says? The verse in Luke chapter 24, verse 11, but they did not believe the women because their words seemed to them like nonsense. It can seem so crazy to us to believe these ideas, and we can be reminded, like I am, of people who sometimes seem too gullible. However, what we see as gullible can also be seen as trust and faith. Looking back on it now, my friend wasn't overly gullible. She just trusted her friends. She had faith in her friends. Unfortunately, we were not very good stewards of the faith she placed in us. Unlike us, Jesus Christ is a perfect friend, and he tells us the truth every single time. We don't always like the truth that he tells us, but he is never going to lie to us. Whether or not we believe the resurrection comes down to understanding who we trust, who we have faith in. If we have faith in God and trust him, then we can believe that everything he tells us is true. We can believe that the resurrection is true. We can believe that Jesus was raised from the dead. And we can build our entire life based on that because of the faith and trust that we have in God. Do we believe the truth of the gospel? That's the question for today. If you've missed any of the other sessions, you can find the link in the description below. It'll take you to the full playlist. Make sure you subscribe. We've got one more session tomorrow through the remainder of this chapter. I don't want you to miss it. Thanks.